You know, they always say there are the 5 stages of grief. You have your shock and disbelief, bargaining, anger, sadness, and finally acceptance, when you can move past the problem or whatever it is. To be honest, I am still sad that some of these Piston Cup sponsors from Cars 1 got left out and replaced in Cars 3, especially Taco Mint. I think a lot of us agree it's one of the better sponsors in Cars, but that is no shade against Shifty Drug here, who we will be focusing on today. Really underrated sponsor at this point. I mean, along with Sidewall Shine and Retread, those have really just fallen by the wayside. It stinks, but before we get into all of that, yeah, it's the 12 days of Christmas now. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Welcome in to the 12th season. Absolutely insane. We've been doing this for 12 years. I know I say that every time, but it gets more and more insane as we go along. But it's all thanks to you guys. Don't want to get too sappy here. Don't want to clog the front of the video, but I really do appreciate all your support on each and every season. If you don't know how it works, you're going to pick it up pretty quickly. You guys suggest stuff for me to review. It can kind of be anything, literally any car at this point. I do provide a bunch of ideas and kind of hints toward what you might want to suggest. And then we just rifle off 12 videos in a row leading up to Christmas. And those suggestors get shout outs. Now, who suggested Team Shifty Drug? Well, obviously Shifty Drug Studios did. I knew that was coming, so thank you very much. And then a couple other suggestors here that were a little bit more general, I think. They were kind of open to any Piston Cup team. Cars Universe Belgium. Hopefully you don't mind a little Shifty Drug action. And same thing with Kevin-EJ6DV. So, yes, let's get into it here without any further ado. Team Shifty Drug in my Piston Cup Teams series. Don't even know what episode this is at this point. We're probably around 14 or 15. Like maybe, yeah, I don't think we're even close to halfway through. That would be 18 because there are 36 teams. Now, Shifty Drug is not one of the biggest, and that, you know, is pretty obvious considering did not make the jump to Cars 3, but also did not receive a Crew Chief or a Pitty. We do have a custom of both of those, but Shifty Drug did get a hauler in 2010. So in a way, this is a little bit of a parallel to my Piston Cup Teams episode last year within the 12 days of Christmas in Vinyl Toupee, because the Vinyl Toupee and Shifty Drug haulers came out at the exact same time. They were in the same case and all that fun stuff. So feels pretty fitting, right? Now, Shifty Drug, Sidewall Shine, Vinyl Toupee, Mood Springs, all those are kind of in the same grouping, but a lot more so Shifty Drug and Vinyl Toupee, if you remember back to 2010. Now, there are 2 variants of Kevin Shift right here. Well, actually more than that if you factor in the Thailand variant, which I have right here as well. Can't forget him. So we're going to, do a nice 3-way comparison. The middle version is the Motor Speedway of the South version, 1 out of 1,000. I only show you guys the best here, 2777EA. That's the date stamp, very indicative of the Motor Speedway of the South. Now, until 2015, this is how he looked. So even though this is the Motor Speedway of the South version, the rubber tires version, the launcher version, all looked like this, being red instead of the accurate pink, which is reflected in the hauler. In 2015, he was in the first case, and right off the bat, they had corrected him to this pink color, and the flat windshield there, you can see that is completely flush with the body, whereas before you had the raised eyelids. That was a big variant deal for Piston Cup racers in the mid-2010s, and obviously we've evolved past that into Thailand and New China. There's always something going on, but yes, here's the Thailand version. More so relevant, these two, because they are both Chinese versions of Kevin. The red looks fine and all of that. Like, it honestly is kind of nostalgic at this point, but pink is way more accurate. And let me try and show you guys an image there in the movie of Kevin Schiff, right? He is just a background racer. Doesn't even get much screen time out of all of the Piston Cup participants. Some get a lot more frames, like 3 or 4 times. You can really get a good shot of them. Don't believe Kevin is one of those. I'll probably show the one from the crash. I think that's probably the best shot that we get of him. But yeah, let's just take a closer look here at the Motor Speedway the South version. You can see how beautiful, glossy the paint is. Now the Shifty Drug logo on the hood doesn't look centered, which is a little strange. It's a lot closer to the left side than the right side. You can see maybe a little bit of a better job, but I still don't think that's perfectly centered. This one looks perfectly centered, so shout out Thailand. That seems like one of the easier things to fix, so I guess we got to give Thailand credit. Got the split grille there for the mustache. Beautiful snow white wheels that go perfect with our holiday theme. Back when contingency sponsors were clear as day. Revolting mood springs, not going to read them all. And a very simple design here, very geometric with kind of this triangle pointing in with the 35 there. Shifty Drug yet again. 35 here on the roof. You have the roof flaps, painted window bars, and then a lot more yellow here on the back. Shifty Drug. Very nice. So yeah, very nostalgic. Again, like I said though, I think a lot of people prefer the pink version. I think it's a better fit too. Like, I mean, you look at the logo here. The logo is clearly more pink than it is red, especially like on the inner bit there. It's like a little bit of a gradient, but that part right there, it's a lot more pink. So it doesn't really match the rest of them. So this looks a lot better here. I'm going to take a guess as to what the date stamp for this would be. You guys know I like to play that game. So while you take a look at Kevin, I'm going to think, I did say the first case of 2015. I think he was with like Shigeko, maybe Chauncey Fairs, which means he was made in 2014. So the code has to end with a 4 and then EAA, right? We know that. I'm going to say, let's probably give him like 100 days back. Somewhere probably between like 70 and 100 days back. So I would go let's just go 2594 EAA. Oh my God. Way off. Way off. This was made a lot closer. This was made the second to last day of the year, unless it was a leap year, 364th day of 2014. So I was off by over 100 days. Wow, all right. Maybe you know what? I think the one that I got early on in the year, I didn't open, and I opened it later. I think that might have been why. And, you know, he appeared in a later case, and then I opened that one or something. Now, the Thailand version is not quite as pink. I'd say it's still more on that side of the spectrum. But, it's, yeah, I mean, kind of goes back to the roots of the red. I feel like it looks more red on camera. But in person, it is pink. Like, I'm not going to call it red. But you can see how, you know, the eyes now have transitioned to being their own eye plate, and that's a plastic piece. You know, the teeth aren't really painted. Everything's blurrier. This is not a great variant by any stretch of the imagination. Not much you could say is better unless you like the opaque gray windows. But yeah, everything is just blurrier, kind of smaller. And this guy's been released a couple times from Thailand. This is the more recent release, S30A. I think this was 2024. The Battle of the Kevins, when Kevin Shift-Right and Racingtire were released together. Pretty sure I've referred to this guy as Shift-Right. I think, yeah, this is Kevin Racingtire. So I'm sure you guys have already commented, yelling at me in the comments below. So please go and delete that. No, I'm just kidding. Probably a lot of people are skipping around in the video. People probably want to see the Pitty. But this is Kevin Racingtire. I apologize for the confusion there. But let's go over to this custom crew chief here, who matches the original version in red here. This is a factory custom. You could still buy these on eBay or AliExpress really cheap, like $10 or less. And you could tell, you know, he's a little lopsided there. Doesn't roll the best. decals are a little cockeyed, but hey, when you could knock off a bunch of these crew chiefs, bang, 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 for $10, they're all pre-made. You don't have to worry about commissioning a customizer. It's pretty efficient, pretty nice, and they serve a good purpose. You slap a headset on them, which you could do. All the license plates are blank, though. This one's just filled in black. Yeah, I mean, you put a headset on some of these, they definitely fill the void. What they do is take like the Dexter Hoover model, the Duff Rex model, that pickup truck model. I guess, not technically Dexter Hoover because the side view mirrors don't have the loop for his flag. But yeah, so I guess I'm wrong. It's more so one of the like Dynaco or Chick Hicks crew chiefs, because this hole here would be for the headset. So that's left in when they copied the mold over. That hole has remained. That's what that is. And then what they do is take the eyes, pretty much peel them off of the racer and copy them onto the pickup truck here. So that's why some eyes look different, but they're always going to match their racer. And that even goes down to the King, the factory custom King pickup truck that they did. Pretty crazy. But yeah. This one even has a little date stamp. But they're all fake. So what I do like is that this pitty that I got, this is from Diecast Dungeon, the customizer. Also red. I'm not sure, how intentional it was here now. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think he did paint this one red. He took a Stacy, the leakless hauler, not the leakless hauler, the leakless pitty. So he was already yellow in the wheels and the center compartment, portion, whatever you want to call it. And then just painted the cap and the bottom half red. Probably, trying to mesh in with the factory custom and the original racer, or maybe you just didn't have the shade of pink that would have matched the new Kevin Racingtire. Either way, though, I do like how all three of these look together. Like, it looks pretty awesome. So let's take a closer look here. I've talked about this in the past with previous pitty customs. You got to be very strategic about what you make. A lot of pitties kind of already serve themselves up on a tee for you to transition them or convert them or repurpose them into another sponsor pitty, right? Another racer's pitty. And especially so when not all of the Piston Cup racers actually have their pit rows shown in cars. They only animate about half of them. So that means a lot of them, you don't really know what the pitties or the crew chief's supposed to look like. So we could just imagine that they look like this, and that the crew chief is a pickup truck and doesn't have his headset for the day or whatever. Yeah, I mean, Shifty Drug Vinyl Toupe are among many that were not animated into the movie. So you have the Shifty Drug logo there. And so, yeah, I mean, you already have the yellow going, which fits perfectly. Just slap some decals, paint red, kind of good to go. Really nice. Looks really good. And then we have the custom tool cart here. Again, probably using like a no-stall cart. Or, yeah, no-stall. No-stall did not get a cart. So this is like a Rust-eze cart, probably. Yeah, like a McQueen cart, and just slap the decal over it. No one's ever going to know the difference. Got the nice silver lining there on the back. Perfect, perfect. We need to come up with some names for these guys, though, especially the pitty here, because he's a lot more, accurate to what I think he should be than the crew chief. The headset, without the headset, just kind of irritates me. But gotta work with what we got. Now transitioning over here to Mattel's, what Mattel kind of did to make up for Disney and Pixar excluding these sponsors from Cars 3, making them into NASCAR racers based on real life drivers. This one being based on William Byron. It's funny, I know Byrev, like I know the carification of it, but I'm not a big NASCAR guy, so I don't necessarily know all their real life names. I think I could, like Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, Bubba Wallace, Danny Suarez. I know all the other ones. I don't know. This one just kind of slipped my mind for a minute. William Byron, converted to William Byrev. My least favorite, I'm just going to be honest, the metallic version makes them a little bit better, but I just think the colors are so dull. Now, they did do quite a bit to try and modernize the Shifty Drug logo. You take it out of the oval and you shift the text drug around a little bit, but really it's like, what the hell are we doing here? The next gen's not going to look like this, like in real life or in real Cars lore. I would not have anticipated it to look like this. Like the font would have changed, a lot more would have changed. Now I do think, you know, the colors could make sense, this maroon and gold. But I mean, they kept the same like triangular design here. Like that's just, I'm telling you right now, that's just not happening. Like Disney and Pixar would have been a lot more creative with this. But hey, I mean, again, that just goes to show like they had no part in this. It was Mattel. And then you have like some weird kind of yellow trim on the wheels with the silver there. I just don't think it really meshes together. 24 is Byron's number, or it probably was in real life. These guys have all changed numbers, it seems, for the most part, since Cars 3 and even since these NASCAR racers came out. But these were during the time where they had the green logo or the green circle around the gas cap, so that's what they're doing here. I do kind of like how they incorporated the gas cap in the part of the eye. Like that is actually kind of creative. You have the net there. Again, another NASCAR feature. I like the gold, like that looks fine, but yeah, I really don't like this, and the expression's kind of dull. Like I said, the metallic version looks a little bit better. I think the colors, like this could have been the first release, and I think people would have vibed with it more. And they made the wheels look way better here. They got rid of those silver ones and made them gold, which probably the best thing about this guy. Got rid of the green circle there because that was kind of a thing of the past. Yeah, I actually really do like what they did with this, what they could have done. I mean, you basically are just making him metallic now, so don't have too much flexibility to change stuff up, but the upgrade on the wheels, that's a big deal for me. And the pit stop barriers were slightly different, a little bit darker when we got to the metallic version there. All right, so that leaves one more next-gen custom here. This was by Jim Scavenger and Thomas Hatfield, who designed all the graphics. I think this is a much better interpretation of what a next-gen Shifty Drug would look like because they actually modernized the graphics. You do still have the number 35 because this is not based on a real-life driver. And, you know, we know the next gens really lean on minimalization. You know, there are now a lot of next gens that, like, if they can abbreviate, they abbreviate. They're not going to include the slogans that many of the original racers had. So here with Shifty Drug, you know what another word is or term for drug? RX. And so there you go, Shifty RX. You know, you go Walgreens, pick up your prescription, you're going to see RX somewhere, right? A lot of times they just, you know, kind of shorten it even speaking, which seems a little redundant, but yeah, RX. So really creative there. You do still have a little bit of play with the eye. I like the gold stripe down the center here. I love the color pink and how bright it is compared to the drab colors on Mattel's. You have silver trim here on black wheels, which looks nice. Yeah, I have nothing bad to say about this one at all. While it's not one of my favorites from Jim and Thomas Hatfield, I think it is better than William Byrev by a long shot. What I probably would have done is made the wing gold. I don't know. Would that have looked good? I just feel like it is a lot of pink here. Making the wing gold could have been pretty cool. And then make the text of Shifty RX pink. That could have been nice. But yeah, trying to expand the team through customs, and that is kind of why we're able to do this video, because if we just had what Mattel gave us, we'd be done already. I mean, they did do a lot of variants of Kevin Racingtire. But here we have the Shifty Drug Semi Cab. And guys, there's a lot of lore to get into, so if you're tired, I mean, go get yourself a beverage or something. We're going to be here for a couple more minutes. Boom. Bet you weren't expecting that. Probably like, where'd those come from? What even are those other two Shifty Drug cabs? We'll get into it. The easier one to digest right now is the one here on the right. This is a canceled Deluxe from 2017 when Mattel was doing Cars 1 and 2 stuff in the main line before Cars 3 came out. We all know a bunch of stuff got canceled because Cars 3 was coming out. This was included along with the Mood Springs cab in the Piston Cup Pit Crew series. There are quite a few differences between this semi-cab deluxe that would have been versus the full hauler release in 2010. For cost saving measures, they just made this back portion one whole like bold and cleared out or really filled in the hitch there, the hole for the trailer. Just more cost effective to not have that like light gray piece in there and all of that. Just kind of make it one nice solid piece. You don't have the mud flaps there. The license plate stayed the same, which is a good thing. We like consistency. But yeah, it does kind of suck though. Like if you were to pick up the trailer at like Goodwill or something, and then you find the Semi Cab Deluxe in store and you try and stitch them together, you're out of luck, right? I'm not just talking about for this specific release. Like anytime after 2010 when they would do just a Semi Cab as a Deluxe, look at the Transberry Juice Cab that actually got released in 2017. It's like this, right? It's the same issue. And then the color is a little darker, I would say. It's a little more concentrated, maybe a little redder. I don't really mind either color. Unfortunately, neither match. I mean, again, you know, there's really no matching like anywhere here. We have a lot of different shades of red and pink flying around here. There's not a great match for anybody, but the expression's slightly different as well. Would have been cool, but at least we got the Transberry Juice Cab, who actually was like a new release that year, where these were re-releases. This one, the Mood Springs Cab. And yeah, they're some of the more accessible cancel cars. I mean, they were in stock, available to buy on eBay for a good majority of 2017, going in and out of stock. So I had to show you guys that, you know, in the spirit of inclusivity in this video. And then we have this. This is a prototype for the 2010 hauler. There is a full version out there, all decked out in yellow. It's basically inverted colors. So everything that's pink, this prototype was in yellow. It's actually pretty cool. I'm fortunate enough to have even this. I am very grateful. I know it's super beat up, but I am so grateful to even have this. You know, the full version is beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. And if you can't match the shade of pink to Kevin, you might as well go yellow, right? Just change it up, right? Just completely go the safe route, make it yellow. I mean, then it'll match and you'll have really no problems, no questions about it, right? Oh, that's also a thing. You have the Trunk Fresh mud flaps here on the back, and I believe that is also the Trunk Fresh license plate, 824AL. But, you know, it's a prototype, so we understand that. I would be curious to know if the full version, you know, it's out there, what the license plate on that one reads. So, yeah, pretty fun, pretty beat up, but I love it so much more because of that. So I had to show you guys those before we get into just the standard 2010 release. Mattel kind of hating on Shifty Drug for a little bit there, canceling the 2017 version, but at the end of the day, it wasn't the most necessary release. This hauler, believe it or not, is actually not even that expensive and rare from 2010. You could get it for less than $50 if you're just patient and you wait for a good deal to roll around. You could even still buy this one. You know, there's a Chinese seller that has a bunch of haulers at amazing prices. You know, the package might not be great, but the hauler will probably be in perfect condition. Speaking of which, here is the trailer. Absolutely beautiful. I love when you throw the checkered flags behind the logo. Just gives it a whole new energy. Team 35 Racing. Of course, this is the side you want to open them from, so you could swing out the ramp here. Now, this probably hasn't been done in years. When was the last time I reviewed the Shifty Drug hauler? That was probably the last time I moved out the ramp here. And yeah, I mean, it still works. These supports come down. Always a pain in the butt to get these down because sometimes, you know, they still get caught underneath. Yes, I'm getting that one caught right there. Maybe because I'm like inadvertently pushing it. I always found it better to like kind of bring it down from the side. Wow, I am really struggling with this one. There we go. I didn't have the ramp pulled out all the way. There we go. This one's even harder because you can't get your finger like all the way in there. But when they're down, it looks pretty awesome. Ramp comes down. He could reside in there and chill. You have the toolbox. You have the stack of tires. You have the air compressor. All folds back in. Ramp goes in not so smoothly. I should probably... Well, the platform goes in. I should probably fold the wrap back in Lots of clicking here. There we go. In the back, see, this yellow looks really good. Like, that prototype, so underrated. You guys gotta look it up. I'm sure. Just search yellow Shifty Drug hauler. It'll come up. Wish I had the full thing to show you guys, but I do not. This side also opens, and you guys know that if you know anything about these Piston Cup haulers, but you can't pull out the platform that way. Really nice, really nice. Got the satellite up here, which is a staple of the Piston Cup trailers. And I think that does it, guys. Oh, my wreath just fell down back there. But that does it for Team Shifty Drug. Now it's your turn to let me know who was your favorite member of the team. I'm sure a lot of people might be intrigued in the Pitty because it's a custom. And, yeah, we haven't really gotten a look at too many Shifty Drug Pitties. You got the custom pickup truck over here. You got 3 next gens, so kind of something for everybody. If you like NASCAR, you're probably a big fan of William Byrev. Maybe you like the custom from Jim Scavenger. I'd probably say my favorite is the hauler. I think it's the most accurate color, and really it's the only thing Mattel did in a significant manner for Shifty Drug. We're lucky to even have gotten that. So, yeah, guys, that is all. Thanks again to the suggestors. Happy holidays, and we'll see you tomorrow for day 2. Oh, and yeah, I didn't even show you guys the launcher. Shoot. That's another thing. We do have to give Mattel credit. They did do a launcher. It is in red, so it matches the earlier design, the earlier color. These launchers are the most nostalgic thing in the world. Does it still work? Wow, that's actually crazy that it still works. Beautiful. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye now.